Welcome to Noon Wednesday. I'm Marissa Wojcik, multimedia journalist with Here and Now on PBS Wisconsin. Today is July 21. Experts are saying Wisconsin's shorelines are undergoing higher levels of flooding and erosion due to climate change. And a new survey reports that coastal communities are experiencing damages that cost in the millions. So here to give a larger context, both locally and internationally, is Sheboygan Mayor Ryan Sorensen. He's a Wisconsin representative on the board of the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence River Initiative, and it's a coalition of 131 mayors that share these waters. And Mayor Sorensen, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Marissa. It's a pleasure to be here.
I want to start with so the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence River City spans beyond Wisconsin and even the United States. So even including Canadian communities, the survey estimated damages of at least $2 billion. What is Wisconsin's share of that cost? And is it a conservative estimate? Is it an overestimation?
Yeah, so the estimated costs for Wisconsin specifically are around $245 million. But these aren't all the numbers combined for all the local municipalities in Wisconsin. These are just accounting for cities. We're not talking about the villages and towns sprinkled in between. We're not even looking at the economic impact. These costs for our communities in Wisconsin are just looking at the cost that it's basically going to take to mitigate and to adapt to the water levels that are impacting our communities, whether it's the lakefront or the rivers that feed into Lake Michigan as well. $2 billion for all the cities across the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River. These are major areas of concern for millions of folks that live on these bodies of water, whether they work here, visit here, or raise their families here. So it's something that we're really concerned about too, and especially when local municipalities, like a mid-sized city like Sheboygan is trying to budget and plan out for the future. We need to figure out what works for us and where we're going to make our money work, and how we're going to communicate that with our constituents. So these numbers are very much a target right now in terms of getting a better scope of where we're at and what the issues are. And it's something that the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities Initiative is working and really making sure that folks in Washington hear from us when we're working on the infrastructure package, that they're putting things in there that helps communities like Sheboygan, Milwaukee, Green Bay, Sturgeon Bay, Racine, to make sure that we're really addressing water infrastructure as well as overall infrastructure for our communities.
Now, let's get a little bit into what these costs represent. So specifically, is it damage to the shoreline? Is it economic losses? What do these costs specifically represent?
Overall, this is damage protection. This is a very much reaction of what we're going to have to anticipate over the next few years here. This isn't looking at the full scope of economic impact as well, too. Whether you're a small business salon owner that's right on the waterfront, or if you're a major organization that relies on tourists and impacts by rising water as well too. You're not looking at the loss of revenue that would have, or the impact on those families that those jobs support. So that we don't get the holistic picture just yet of truly what the big impact of this is for both the United States and Canada, for individuals that are impacted on the Great Lakes or the St. Lawrence River. We understand that the Great Lakes and all that they provide with their natural resources is a huge economic driver for all the communities in this area. So we don't know what the future holds in terms of climate change specifically, and what that looks like, but we have to act. We have to do something so that communities can be protected and prepared for what's to come in the future.
Can you dial it in a little further for us and tell us about what this looks like in Sheboygan? What are these losses looking like for your constituents?
Yeah, and right now we don't have the full picture, but we want to make sure that we're being attentive we're being forward thinking in terms of how we're going to address this. Sheboygan is the Malibu of the Midwest. We are a strong tourism community, and we rely on many different facets of individuals in the tourism economy, whether it's charter fishing. We have one of the largest charter fishing fleets on the Great Lakes. We have a wonderful marina that attracts folks from all over the United States. We have obviously surfing, bring freshwater surf capital of the world. We bring a lot of folks over here to enjoy that outdoor recreation sport as well too. And all these different parts tie into other different parts of the local economy. So that's just a little snapshot of when climate change impacts the communities. If it damages our shorelines and we're not able to have a beach for people to enjoy and recreate anymore, that's a concern. When I was on the city council, I represented individuals that lived on the south shore of Sheboygan, and everyone that I talked to, that lived in their homes for several years, could see the direct impact of their slopes and shorelines eroding, falling into the lake. Every few years, just a couple more inches, a couple more feet. When those slopes lose stability, sadly, we don't know what might happen with the future of those homes. So the livelihoods of families and their safety are a concern as well too. So I think you have to look at the broad spectrum of rising water and how it's impacting folks on Lake Michigan, whether it's homeowners, families, tourism, recreation. Go down the list. It impacts in many different ways, and we're seeing it firsthand. Sheboygan, we've lost several of our beaches over the last 2 years because of high water. And, now it's going bad. We're having a lot of these 100-year storms happening much and more frequently. With heavy rainfalls comes a lot of erosion and impacts us in those ways as well. So folks in Sheboygan, we see it firsthand. We're concerned about what this means for the future and how we can plan for it.
And when you talk about these 100-year storms happening over and over, is that really kind of what is making it undeniable or hard to ignore that this is climate change? Because some people say, well, the levels of water rise and fall all the time, and it's cyclical, but is the intensity of and frequency of how this is happening, is that what's really making it easier to say, no, this is climate change?
Of course, the intensity, the frequency, it's happening so much more that it's much more difficult to plan for it. Just the other summer, we had our boardwalk underwater, parts of our riverfront underwater because of the intensity of rising water. We weren't able to put in boat docks because we weren't able to have our boat launches because of the frequency of how the water was rising. We had to have businesses that had, just for their livelihood, had to react in such a way that they just had to put out sandbags and just hope and pray that the water wouldn't damage their stores. And sadly, some did get damaged, and some are still trying to figure out how to deal with water runoff that floods into their basement and into their businesses. These are folks' livelihoods, whether they own and operate businesses here, whether they rely on tourism, whether they're homeowners. We have to do something about it. We're being proactive. And with the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Seaway Cities Initiative, we want to make sure that we're really elevating the voice for communities on the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River to make sure that we're having a strong collective voice to move this issue forward and make sure that folks in Canada and the United States can help us out.
And along those lines, because it is binational and it stretches many different communities and goes beyond boundaries and borders, whose responsibility is it to pay for this? How do you decide versus pointing fingers?
Yeah, and I think we need to be proactive, and I'm not a person that likes to point fingers. This is the issue that we're dealing with. We need to be proactive. We have to work together. We have to be collaborative in our approaches. And I think this is what gets exciting for me on an issue like this. Water is a nonpartisan issue. I love working with Democrats, Republicans, independents, and everyone in between from the United States, from Canada, in terms of how we can move forward and have a collective voice. The United States obviously has to do its part. We're having great conversations about this infrastructure package going through Congress right now. I'm excited to see what comes out of that. Hopefully we'll get a great investment in roads and bridges for local communities. We also need to focus on our water infrastructure. Communities like Sheboygan, states like Wisconsin rely heavily on our waterways and the Great Lakes to support our local communities as well. And water infrastructure is just a huge, vital component of how we can be strong and make sure that we're a lakefront community of the 21st century. We have so much to offer. We need to make sure that our communities stay strong and healthy and vibrant, and keeping our Great Lakes protected is part of that.
So you spoke of reactionary measures, businesses putting down sandbags. It sounds like what you're looking at with the infrastructure package is a little bit more long-term. But is there also pollution to the water because of this? What are the real long-term solutions? And is it going to just keep getting worse?
Yeah, I think when you talk about long-term solutions, it could go in many different ways. But I'll kind of speak for Sheboygan specifically. You know, we're a lakeshore community that has over 10 miles on the Great Lakes. We have a wonderful Sheboygan River where we have a lot of businesses, parks, areas to recreate, enjoy a day at the beach, go grab ice cream, go grab some food at a restaurant, rent some kayaks or paddle boards. And we're very connected in a lot of those different businesses. We have a strong business community. But when you have something like this that comes unexpectedly and impacts us, it's hard to adapt. I met with the salon owner the other day who owns a salon right on the river. And when you have stormwater pipes backing up because of high water or heavy rain, and it floods their basement and they're not able to make payments to fix that, or they're not able to sell the property and move forward or promote their businesses, it really impacts them. And it's a big struggle for them as well, too. So I think there needs to be a major component for long-term planning to work with the states, county governments, federal governments, every level in between, in the private sector as well, to develop strong strategic partnerships to make sure that we understand what the businesses' needs are that are in the area as well. So I think that's one point. And then we need to talk about mitigation strategies as well. For example, in Sheboygan, we have a lot of jetties, breakwater systems, seawalls that need repair and investment so that we can protect our shoreline from erosion, whether it's from our beaches, whether it's from homeowners, whether it's from other tourism entities as well, and small businesses, like I said before. So I think those need to be key factors as well in terms of long-term planning of what's going to be the cycle. You know, how long are we going to repair this? What's the expectation of how long some of these mitigation and erosion protections last for a community like Sheboygan? We're working with the Army Corps of Engineers right now to repair our South Pier breakwater area right now, and that's a major investment that the Army Corps is making in this community. But they understand the importance of making that investment in repair. So we need more projects like that up and down all the shores of the Great Lakes as well too. But we have to understand, you brought up the point, Marissa, too, about pollution. Wisconsin is an agriculture state. We need to make sure that we have a lot of long-term protections in terms of agricultural erosion, PFAS runoffs, making sure communities have the investment and support to do testings for groundwater or to test our rivers as well to make sure that water that we're intaking is clean, healthy, and good for folks that want to, swim in the lakes or that are consuming and drinking it as well. So I think those are some of the key things, just as a quick rundown of things we're thinking about for long term that we need to really hammer down and get a good grip on.
But when we're acknowledging that climate change is at the root cause of these problems, it's something that different countries are punting back and forth, and it's a can that gets kicked down the road. As a mayor of a Wisconsin city, and you mentioned that you get together with other mayors in the state, you're part of this binational coalition, is making certain promises towards addressing climate change and lowering greenhouse gas emissions. Is that something that is a part of your forward planning?
It has to be. It has to be. Sometimes when you're a mayor, you feel like you're on an island by yourself. Um, your community is fighting hard to recover from the pandemic, making sure that we have a strong business community as well. But when you're talking about a global issue like climate change, you can't go at it alone. You need to make sure that you're developing partnerships. You're leaning on your friends throughout the state of Wisconsin, with in other communities, other mayors, to make sure that you have that collective voice. But you can't go at it alone. When you're talking about addressing climate change, you need to make sure that you have a concise, conceited way to move forward. And I think having a group like the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence River Cities Initiative to be that voice, I think, is a strong advocate to some of the federal decision makers. When you're talking about interstate commerce and by national organizations and issues like this, leadership does need to come from the top as well, but it needs to start local. Saying goes, all politics is local, and it is. We see the impact. We also see the negative impact when folks at top don't show leadership or don't step up to help folks like us to have that collaborative approach in terms of how we address issues like climate change. We can do what we can, but we all need to be in the same boat together, make sure that we're moving this issue forward.
Now, you are a Sheboygan native and the youngest elected Sheboygan mayor. And you said that you are currently the youngest mayor in Wisconsin. There's kind of a trend of younger mayors in the state as well. Being the generation that is inheriting climate change, what will this look like if it's not addressed?
I don't know. And I know it's not going to be good if we don't do something about it. I think that's what's inspiring so many young folks across this country to get involved in politics locally or throughout this country, because we have to do something. Inaction is not a way to move forward. And folks like me and other young mayors across Wisconsin, or the country for that matter, we don't do this just for the pomp and circumstance. I mean, I know I did this because I love my hometown, I love my community, and I remember growing up, spending a day at the lake, going to the beach, having fun with friends and family, and then now when you have entire beaches and waterways washed out and not able to have that same shared experiences, that hurts. It becomes personal for me. So I think making my hometown a better place has been a big motivating factor for me to jump in it and run for mayor from the start. And now I'm in this position. I'm a part of a wonderful organization that is a great advocate to tackle and address some of these issues. But it is scary when you don't see leadership from the top that wants to move forward and address these issues. My generation, the next generation after me, we're going to be the ones that are going to have to deal with this. We don't fully know what it looks like. But we know it's not going to look good if we don't do anything. So we have to we have to do our part. I'm happy that we're talking about these important issues. I'm happy that we have platforms like this to really elevate the concern of what's going on in the world, what's going on in our neck of the woods. We hear when folks think climate change, they think, oh, well, that's just the ice caps melting way up north or way in Antarctica. So it's not my backyard. I don't have to worry about it. Well, it is in our backyard. In small cities like Sheboygan, we're seeing beaches wash away. We're seeing rivers rise. We're seeing more flooding. We're seeing more of these 100-year storms happening more and more. We're seeing the frequency of lake levels rise and drop 15 feet more drastically than we've ever had before. And I think it's a concern for me, and I know it's a concern for many other citizens. People are willing to step up and address this issue, and I have a lot of support from local community members that want to get involved and help address this and see what Sheboygan can do in our neck of the woods.
All right, we leave it there. Sheboygan Mayor Ryan Sorensen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. Just want to do a quick pitch for the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities Initiative. Follow us on social media. Stay in touch.
All right, for more from Here and Now and PBS Wisconsin, you can visit pbswisconsin.org. And thank you so much for joining us on Noon Wednesday.